the time of year, it seems to me, that everybody gets out in the yard and starts doing gardening, right? I've got this big crepe myrtle tree in my yard. Y'all know what crepe myrtle is? Like a bush tree kind of thing. And, my wife asked me last year, she said, you need to cut that back. Okay? So I got out there and I started trimming. I started with these little things. Y'all use these? Anybody ever done any gardening? Maybe I should see a show of hands. Yeah, I know JP has. He's a big gardener. Yeah. I started with these, and she said, "No, you're gonna have to trim more than that, because this just gets the little stuff, right? Just a little bit around the edges, And this tree, this crepe myrtle, had gotten really out of hand, so it needed more. So I pulled out these babies. You can see how often I use them. They're this nice rust color. Okay. But I got these out and I started whacking away. She came outside and she said, no, it needs to go back further than that. You need to cut more than that. So I threw those down. I got these. Now these are just a little bit bigger, but they've got more torque. More power. And the blade is sharper. Here, just stick your finger in there. Let me show you. The blade is sharper, and so it'll do actually some small branches. And that's what my crepe myrtle really needed. I needed to really get not just the dead stuff around the edges, but I really needed to get down into some of the branches and cut them off. And so I started cutting. Man, I was whacking away, and I thought I was going to kill this tree. I mean, really getting down so far. I thought there's no way this tree's going to survive this. And my wife came outside. She said, "No, it needs to go back further than that." And so I had to get this. And I had to actually. This is actually just a little handsaw, but I had to actually saw some of the branches out that I couldn't get that blade around. So I actually sawed some of the branches off and cut them back. Now this tool here is more just a shrubbery trimmer. Okay, it looks mean and bad, but it doesn't do a whole lot, and it's actually fairly dull. But I use this to trim just the bushes. So actually, this one was pretty useless too in trimming of the crepe myrtle. So what's my point there? When my wife came outside, she finally was somewhat happy with the job that I'd done. Although she said it really needed to be cut back further. But see there, she won't let me have a chainsaw. She's afraid I'll cut something important off, like a hand or an arm or something. So, that's as good as it got for her. And I thought I'd killed this tree. I thought it was dead. There is no way. It was about this time last year I did this. I need to do it again, which is why I pull these out. And I thought it was dead. There's no way this tree is going to survive that whacking that I gave it. But you know what? That sucker came back beautiful. All summer long. It was beautiful. It bloomed like we had never seen it bloom before. In the almost 9 years we've lived in our house, this thing has never bloomed like that. Now go figure. I thought I'd kill the thing by cutting it back. And it was just beautiful. Now, made me think about a passage. Jesus is the master teacher. Jesus is the master gardener, believe it or not. And he was often talking to people who knew all about gardening, agriculture. He knew how to make. They knew how to grow stuff, and they knew how stuff grew. Okay, I'm a city boy. I don't know all that, but this is what he says. He was teaching them. This is in John 15. These are the words of Jesus. He says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You're already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me." Wow. Now think about that. What is Jesus talking about? He is the vine. Think about this tree that I was describing to you. Tree, vine, what's the difference? This tree that I was describing to you. What if Jesus said, I am the crepe myrtle, or I am the tree, I am the vine, he says. You stay in me, and I'm going to stay with you. All these branches that were just going crazy on this tree are all being fed by the trunk of the tree, by the main part of that vine, if you will. Okay? Think about the image. What is Jesus trying to get his disciples to understand? We're the church. All right? We're Christians. We are being fed by the vine, by Jesus himself. Now, did you notice what he says he does to those that don't bear fruit? Wax them. Cuts them off. He gets out his tool and he says, he cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit. Wow. When I was trimming this crepe myrtle, there were some branches that were just dead. I mean, they were dead. And nothing had bloomed on them for a while. They were on the vine, but just barely. Well, you know what I did? I just went through and I just whacked those off. Threw them away. A little bit later, he says these branches get picked up. They're thrown away. They wither. They're thrown away. They're picked up. They're thrown into the fire, and they're burned because they're useless. Now, once they were attached to the vine, and once I assume they were growing, but they died. They're not bearing any fruit. Are there Christians like that? Are there maybe some of us, heaven forbid, like that? Where we're still attached, but just barely. But then notice what he does to the good branches, to the branches that are really growing and bearing fruit. You know what he does to them? He whacks them too. He cuts them, but he cuts them in a different way. It says, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it'll be even more fruitful. He prunes, he cuts them back too, so that it would be even more fruitful. Now, my crepe myrtle and I are very close, and I discussed with it after I got done. I said, tell me, tree, how did this feel? And this tree, you wouldn't believe it, spoke to me. And he said, man, that hurt. Man, that hurt when you were cutting on this branch up here. That was killing me. Trees don't speak. But what if you could ask it, what did it feel like to be cut? What would it have felt like? Have you ever been cut back? Have you ever been pruned? Have you ever gone through something in your life that was just tough, that was difficult, painful, maybe physically? More often, I think it's spiritually and emotionally. We go through tough stuff. James says, what is it, James? He says, count it pure joy when you experience suffering, because the experience of suffering produces, what is it, perseverance? Perseverance, character, hope. You ever been through tough stuff? You think, man, that biology test I did last week, that was pretty tough. Man, that's nothing compared to some of the things that you'll experience. And a lot of times people, Christians will ask, why does God let bad things happen? Why is this happening to me, God? And I don't have all the answers why bad stuff happens, but I know at least one possibility why God might allow something bad to happen in your life is that he's pruning you. He's preparing you for something down the road. You're going to need to be stronger to be able to handle. And he's just getting you ready. He's cutting you back a little bit. And it's painful. It may be painful. It might hurt in the short term. But in the long term, what is his goal? Is he cutting back on you because he doesn't like you? No, he's cutting back on you because he wants you to be even more